Good evening, friends. Pinwatini, welcome to our online broadcast here from the London Mindfulness Meditation Center. Thank you for joining with us. We go live every day at 7 o'clock, sharing our evening Buddha Puja, chanting and meditation. So we worship the Buddha as a regular practice, so it's not just accumulating merit, but it is also trying to develop your focus and stay blessed and feel blessed. We also chant Paritta Suttas to bless you with good health and happiness, especially during this time of difficulty, so that you stay blessed with good health, you stay blessed with the compassion of the Buddha and the virtues of the Triple Gem, and may they be conducive for your complete and wholesome well-being. And also, as it is Thursday, we do our weekly meditation on mindfulness to develop peace of mind and also develop mindfulness and learn how to train ourselves to develop mindfulness. So thank you for joining with us. So let us worship the Buddha. But first, please say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa 3 times to observe 5 precepts. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Dutiyampi saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Tatiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Tatiyampi saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi Pānātipātā vīramani sikkhapada samadhiyāmi Adinnādāna vīramani sikkhapada samadhiyāmi Kāmesu miccācārā vīramani sikkhapada samadhiyāmi Musāvādā vīramani sikkhapada samadhiyāmi Surāmeraya majjapamā daṭṭhāna vīramani sikkhapada samadhiyāmi Tisaranena saddhiṃ pañcasīlaṃ dhammaṃ sādhukaṃ surakkhitāṃ kattvā appamādena sampādetabbam. Let's worship the Buddha together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho. Vijjācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu. Anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattha deva manassanang buddho bhagavati. Buddhaṃ jīvita pariyantaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Ye ca buddha atita ca ye ca buddha anagata. Paccapanna ca ye buddha ahang vandami sabbada. Natti me saranang anyang buddho me saranang varang. Etene sacca vajjene hotu me jaya mangalang. Uttamangena vandehang padapang suvaruttamang. Buddheyo kalito doso buddho kamatu tang mamang. Swakhato bhagavata dhammo sandittiko akaliko. Ehi passiko opanayiko paccattang veditabbo vinyuhiti. Dhammang jīvita pariyantang saranang gacchāmi. Ye ca dhamma atita ca ye ca dhamma anagata. Paccapanna ca ye dhamma ahang vandami sabbada. Natti me saranang anyang dhammo me saranang varang. Etene sacca vajjene hotu me jaya mangalang. Uttamangena vandehang dhamman ca tividhang varang. Dhammeyo kalito doso dhammo kamatu tang mamang. Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Ujjupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Nyāyapatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Sāmīci patipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Yadidang cattari purisa yugani atta purisa puggala. Esa bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Ahuneyo pahuneyo dakhineyo anjali karaniyo. Anuttarang punyaketang lokassati. Sanghang jīvita pariyantang saranang gacchāmi. Ye ca sangha atita ca ye ca sangha anagata. Paccapanna ca ye sangha ahang vandami sabbada. Natti me saranang anyang sangho me saranang varang. Etene sacca vajjene hotu me jaya mangalang.
උත්තමංගේන වන්දේහං සංඝං චති විදෝත්තමං සංඝේයෝ කලිතෝ දෝසෝ සංඝෝ කමතු තං මමං කනසාරප්පදිත්තේන දීපේන තමදංසිනා තිලෝක දීපං සම්බුද්ධං පූජයාමි තමෝනුදං වන්නගන්ධ ගුණපේතං ඒතං කුසුම සන්තතින් පූජයාමි මුනින්දස්ස සිරිපාද සරෝරුහේ පූජේමි බුද්ධං කුසුමේන නේන පුඤ්ඤේන මීතේන ච හෝතු මොක්ඛං පුප්පං මිලායාති යතහා ඉදම්මේ කායෝ තථා යාති විනාශ භාවං අධිවාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ පානීයං පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු උත්තම අධිවාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ ගිලාන පච්චයං ඉමං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු උත්තම අධිවාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ බේසජ්ජං පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු උත්තම අධිවාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ සම්බං සද්ධාය පූජිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු උත්තම වන්දාමි චේතියං සබ්බං සබ්බඨානේසු පතිට්ඨිතං සාරීරික ධාතු මහා බෝධිං බුද්ධ රූපං සකලං සදා යස්ස මූලේ නිසින්නෝව සම්බාරි විජයං අකා පත්තෝ සබ්බඤ්ඤුතං සත්තා වන්දේතං බෝධිපාදපං ඉමේ ඒතේ මහා බෝධි ලෝකනාථේන පූජිතා අහම්පිතේ නමස්සාමි බෝධිරාජා නමත්තුතේ කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමේ භන්තේ භූරි පඤ්ඤේ තථාගත කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමේ ධම්ම සම්දිට්ඨික අකාලික කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමේ සංඝ සුපටිපන්න අනුත්තර එත්තාවතාච අම්හෙහි සම්භතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ දේවා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා එත්තාවතාච අම්හෙහි සම්භතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ භූතා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා එත්තාවතාච අම්හෙහි සම්භතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ සත්තා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා ඉදම්මේ ඥාතීනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාතීනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බානපත්තියා ඉදම්මේ පුඤ්ඤං ආසවක්ඛයා වහං හෝතු සම්බ දුක්ඛා පමුංචතු සාදු සාදු සාදු.
If you have just joined us, that is the end of our Buddha Puja. We go live every day at 7 o'clock sharing our Buddha Puja, chanting and meditation. So now we are going to chant Ratana Sutta to bless you with good health and happiness. And if you are ill or if you know anyone who is ill, your friends or family or loved ones, please bear them in your thoughts, wishing them speedy recovery and good health. So may the blessings of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha be upon you and them. May the compassion of the Buddha be upon you and them for your good health, happiness, success and prosperity. So with such righteous intention we chant the sutta and also dedicate it to all our key workers working tirelessly to look after their patients and their families and the nation. So may they also enjoy good health and happiness. May they also develop courage and determination to continue their valuable services. So please listen to the chanting with great attention and respect. Samanta cakkavalesu atra gacchantu devata Saddhammang munirajassa sunantu sagga mokkhadan Paritta kalu ayang bhadanta Paritta kalu ayang bhadanta Paritta dhamma kalu ayang bhadanta Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa Yani bhutani samagatani bummani vayani vayantalikhe Sabbeva bhuta sumana bhavantu atopi sakkacca sunantu bhasitang Tasmahi bhutani samitha sabbe mettang karotha manusiya pajaye Divacaratto haranti e baling tasmahi nirakkata appamatta Yang kinci vittang idhavahurang va sagge suvayang ratanang panitang Nano samang attita thagatene idampi buddhe ratanang panitang Etena saccena suvatti hotu Khayang viragang ametang panitang Yadajjaga sakya muni samahito Natena dhammena samatti kinci idampi dhamme ratanang panitang Etena saccena suvatti hotu Ye puggala attha satang pasattha cattari etani yugani honti Te dakkineya sugatassa savaka ete sudinnani mahappalani Idampi sanghe ratanang idampi dhamme ratanang panitang Etena saccena suvattiyotu
ये पुग्गला अट्ठशतं पसत्तः चत्तारि एतानि युगानि हन्ति ते दक्षिणेया सुगतस्स सावका एतेषु दिन्नानि महापराणि इदम्पि संघे रत्नं पनीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु ये सुप्रयुक्ता मनसा दल्हेन निकामिनो गौतम शासनं हि ते पत्तिपत्ता अमतं विगैः लब्धा मुधा निभृतिं भुञ्जमाना इदम्पि संघे रत्नं पनीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु यथीन्द्रकीलो पठविंसितोऽसिया चतुर्भिवातेभिः सम्प्रकम्पियो तथोपमं सत्पुरुषं वदामि यो आर्यसत्यानि अवेच्च पश्यति इदम्पि संघे रत्नं पनीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु ये आर्यसत्यानि विभावयन्ति गम्भीरपञ्चेन सुदेशितानि किञ्चापि ते हन्ति भुसप्पमत्ता न ते भवन् अट्टमं आदियन्ति इदम्पि संघे रत्नं पनीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु सहावस्स दर्शन सम्पदाय तयस्सु धम्मा जहिता भवन्ति सक्काय दिट्ठि विचिकित्सितं च सीलब्धं वापि यदत्ति किञ्चित् चतुर्पाये हि च विप्रमुक्तो चचाभिठानानि अभवो कातुम् इदम्पि संघे रत्नं पनीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु किञ्चापि शोकं मं करोति पापकं कायेन वाचा उदचेतसा वा अभवोऽसो तस्य पटिच्छादाय अभवतादिट्ठः पदस्य वुत्ता इदम्पि संघे रत्नं पनीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु वनप्रगुम्बे यथा पुष्सितज्ञे गिम्हानमासे पठमस्मिन् गिम्हे तथोपमं धम्मवरं अदेशयि निब्बानगामिं परमं हिताय इदम्पि बुद्धे रत्नं पनीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु वरो वरन्यो वरदो वराहरो अनुत्तरो धम्मवरं अदेशयि इदम्पि बुद्धे रत्नं पनीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु खीनं पुराणं नवं नत्थि सम्भवं विरतचित्ता आयतिके भवस्मिन् ते खीनबीजा अविरुल्हिच्छन्दा निब्बन्ति धीरा यथायं प्रदीपो इदम्पि संघे रत्नं पनीतं एतेन सच्चेन सुवत्ति होतु यानि भूतानि समागतानि भुम्मानि वायानि वयन्तलिखे तथागतं देवमनुष्य पूजितं बुद्धं नमस्साम सुवत्ति होतु यानि भूतानि समागतानि भुम्मानि वायानि वयन्तलिखे तथागतं देवमनुष्य पूजितं धम्मं नमस्साम सुवत्ति होतु यानि भूतानि समागतानि भुम्मानि वायानि वयन्तलिखे तथागतं देवमनुष्य पूजितं संघं नमस्साम सुवत्ति होतु एतेन सच्चवज्जेन दुःखावुपशमिन्तु ते एतेन सच्चवज्जेन भयावुपशमिन्तु ते Etena sacca vajjena rogavupasamintu te. Sabba buddhanubhavena sabba dhammanubhavena sabba sanghanubhavena Buddha ratanang dhamma ratanang sangha ratanang tinnang ratananang anubhavena Chaturasiti sahassa dhammakkhandhanubhavena pitakattayanubhavena Jinasavakanubhavena sabbete roga sabbete bhaya Sabbete antaraya sabbete upaddava sabbete dunnimitta sabbete avamangala vinassantu Ayuvaddhako dhanavaddhako sirivaddhako yasavaddhako Balavaddhako vannavaddhako sukhavadhako hotu sabbada Dukkha roga bhaya vera soka sabbe paddava Aneka antaraya pi vinassantu ca tejasa Jaya siddhi dhanang labhang sotti bhagyang sukhang balang Siriyayuca vanno ce bhogang buddhi ca yasava Satavassa ca ayu ce jiva siddhi bhavantu te Akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkantu loka sasanang Akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva Cirang rakkantu dhamma desanang akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkantu mang paranti sadhu sadhu sadhu
So if you have joined us just now, we go live every day at 7 o'clock sharing our Buddha Puja, chanting and meditation. So to allow you to practice the Dhamma or participate in religious observance during this lockdown time, we go live so that you can also develop peace of mind, you can engage the religious worship, Buddha Puja, as you would do at home, but as a community online when you do it together. It is also about the concept of Kalyana Mittas as a whole online community. We join together and also worship the Buddha. So we develop a different feeling which is also part of the spiritual commitment and advancement. And also when you listen to chanting, we develop peace of mind as well as receive the blessings of the Buddha that is embodied in the suttas, in the virtues of the Triple Gem, and also be blessed by his compassion for your well-being. So during this time of difficulty, may you stay blessed with good health, and also may you and your loved ones and as a whole family and friends also as a community stay blessed with good health and happiness. So with such righteous intention, we share our chanting, wishing you peace and happiness. So now it is time for meditation. So every Thursday we meditate on or practice mindfulness based practice. So apart from Thursdays we do meditation on loving kindness. So as mentioned, so it is about mindfulness, and you do know mindfulness means about being present in the moment or being present in the present. So if you look about even indexes or tenses, we have a tendency to not be in the present moment because our mind is so active. Mind is active sometimes unnecessarily. So in a way we need to learn how to change this, and therefore an untrained mind, abhavitam chittam, untrained mind can bring real difficulties, especially if you look at the word peace of mind. An untrained mind, or we call abhavitam chittam or vikhitta chitta, so wandering, or even in terms of restless mind, can bring real problems in terms of a peace of mind. So that's why the Buddha at one time said, Atitang nanu sochanti, never ever engage or indulge in the past. Now whether that indulging can take place with positive or negative, indulging in the past, atitang anusochanti, anusochanti means to actually look back and think and to revisit. If you do that, there is high chance that your mind will not rest. So mind can develop contemplation or reflections very differently. So we do know ethically, if there are good things we say we need to learn a lesson from it. But in meditation it is about how the mind functions. Are we attempting to use it for future calculations, or are we trying to rewrite the stories, or are we trying to work differently, especially when those thoughts arise? Or even, it can be even not, it hasn't got to be 5-10 years ago incident. It can be the split second incident that just took place, and sometimes our mind cannot stay still because it will be like that flickering flame behind me. It's going to and fro, when actually you are then going back to the past, working on something. So it works quite differently. So even in future it works quite differently as well. So sometimes when we are not in the present moment, worries can develop within oneself, and therefore I use the word being conditioned in the past. Your mind is being conditioned. So your mind becomes conditioned in many ways, from the past emotions or thoughts, and also worries of the future. So that's why it is a great hindrance even to develop mindfulness. So the nature of mind is what we try to understand, this nature of mind. I can take an example of a small baby or toddler, because our mind consciously or unconsciously sometimes engages with the past or future. You might not be purposely doing it, but you are engaging without your notice. It happens without your notice sometimes. And therefore, this untrained mind is always restless. So when I said, let us take an example of a baby, or even yourself, or maybe, or if you noticed even an adult sleeping, sometimes the body is moving unconsciously. So it's looking for some sort of comfort or happiness. Even in the sleep we move a little bit. So our body is uncomfortable, so we move a little bit. And even say for example, because the mind is deeply rooted in some sort of expectations or cravings or desires, the body always wants to adjust itself. Maybe I will put a bit of a cushion, or maybe I will do this. And this happens sometimes even in meditation. as soon as some sensation attracts you, you start working on it. So that becomes a reason to either go to the past or even the future. So maybe some memory might come and you think, oh, last time when I was meditating, this happened to me, so now I need to do this. So we are going back again and working on it, rather than looking at the sensation on its own at the present moment. Or sometimes we anticipate something, so we adjust ourselves, sometimes unconsciously. So that's why the purpose of the body scanning sometimes helps in the sensory experience, or even to be mindful of how the body is, so that when your attention was again taken by the situation of the body, then we might notice that it is either not in the way it was. So being mindful of the posture really helps sometimes to actually see the rise and ceasing of things. So rising and ceasing of sensation, or in the posture, and even the thoughts. Okay, so when we are looking at that toddler, you can see, or if the toddler is awake, and you actually look at the toddler, you'll notice, even if it's an adult person or restless person, you can see how the body is always in action. Looking after this, looking after this, looking at this, looking at that. You see things, you hear things, you always constantly, your mind, your body is always following your desires through those sensory experiences. And you can't predict that. You can't predict your next movements when your mind is restless. So when your body is actually also like that, you can't predict what the body will do. It sometimes does it automatically. So imagine if the mind is restless, what sort of things it might engage with. Moving from object to object. And unconsciously, any object that attracts, then what will happen is your mind will engage with it unnecessarily, getting involved is what I have used in the word in the past. You're getting involved with it unnecessarily. If you see something, have for example, even like a cup or something, you might be, you'll start planning. Okay, I'll have a cup of tea. Your body didn't need it. Now, because you saw the cup, your mind now starts working on it. It creates this new thought process. Or if you see a cup, then you might remember where you bought it, what you did with it, what might be in there. Is it washed? Is there an insect in there? So we have all of these calculated thought processes developing. Now sometimes unconsciously this happens. That's where we are talking of this word mindfulness. Your mind unconsciously engages with it in that. You are not thinking like that I want to make a cup of tea, but your mind automatically, unconsciously might move into that zone. And those calculations are made from your personal bank of data or experiences that we use, perhaps even to cross-link or even to things. So we might have this judgmental lenses within us, perhaps, or a shield every time it's about judging and working on those things. Now that every experience is being judged, isn't it? Every experience is being judged. Now that also is happening without your awareness sometimes. We always are in this conclusive vision. If you see a cup, you might say, oh, it's mine. Or if you see a cup used by someone else, we always then I shouldn't be using that. So we have those conclusive opinions. If you see something, and then, oh, that's not the way. So rather than seeing the object on its own, you are actually seeing it in your judgmental views, unconsciously. So like when sensory pain gets your attention, we adjust automatically sometimes. So that's why in meditation we have to practice letting go. When you see, you don't automatically respond to it, but you see that your mind has been attracted to it. So from breathing, you will maybe work on that sensation. So this is feeling or pain. So rather than actually, because the moment you link it to yourself, my leg or my pain, it then becomes a different outlook as well as a different wagon of thoughts will start coming in. So we see the pain as an object rather than my leg or too painful or it's okay, I can wait for 5 more minutes. Rather than actually thinking like that, see the pain as it is happening, as that sensory pain that's there, present in the present moment. Your mind has seen it, and then what you need to notice is you have seen it. So feeling. And then we let it go. And then we try to come back. And then when that pain again attracts you, then we again notice that. And then we come back. Now it's happening a couple of times. Now you can see the pain is excruciating sometimes, and it is developing some impatience within oneself. And if you feel that impatience, if you note that reaction, be mindful of that. The urge to move, even when you are scratching your face or your hair, you feel that sensation is actually attracting you so much. So we have to be mindful of these processes. Obviously, if your leg is going to be very hurtful, we need to address it. So what we will do is, when you see that sensation, if your mind gets attracted to it more than 3-4 times, then there's no harm in trying to make that sensation as your point of meditation. That becomes the object, Vedananupassana. So you actually do meditation according to the pain. So anupassana is to actually look according to the pain or contemplate according to the pain, so the feeling. So that can be an object for the time for a while. And you can then be mindful of the thoughts, the reaction, yet not move for a while. Because if you automatically move, you'll be moving for every sensation. Now obviously when you look at the pain and it is still there and it is actually getting your attention, so keep on observing it as you watch the breath without any judgment. You're not saying, this is a nice smell, it is bringing me a nice smell into my nose. You don't judge your breath, or you don't. There's no like or dislike in your breath. Now, if that breathing is an object, we can try to apply the same strategy. Don't like or dislike the pain. Don't develop any resistance either, and just observe that for a while. And because sometimes it can just be like a body complaining. If you sit down to watch television for 3 hours, a nice movie, you might be in that position for nearly 3 hours without even moving, because your mind is well glued into something. As soon as there is an advertisement coming, then you start to move. Then the pain attracts your mind. As soon as some long advertisement or something comes, then you think, now that's very good, now I can move. So can you see how the determination also is a key role in this? So therefore, when you look at the pain and then make that as the meditation object, just watch the sensory experience as it is without making judgment, because we are not meditating more than half an hour. So you can see how your mind is getting into that shaky mood, because it's wanting to actually move, wanting to actually you might want to support it, saying I have to move, so we bring every judgment that we want to move sometimes. So if your mind is, if the pain is sort of getting attention a lot, and obviously your body is complaining and it's there for a while, and it's obviously unbearable, then notice the intention to move. And that can also happen sometimes. The mind gets just attracted to something else, because once you get used to the pain, mind starts getting attracted to something else. Maybe a sound. Now because the mind got bored with the pain, so you're not even moving because mind gets bored now. And then it might go to another object. And when it goes to another object, be mindful of that. So that means the pain is no longer painful. It was just like a complaint, a complaining mind wanting to find a reason to wander or get off the track of your breathing focus. So should your mind wander somewhere else, then note that, and then again come back to breathing. Okay? So the pain has no longer been attractive, so the mind will go to another object. As I said, it is this, we seek sort of entertainment through our senses. So whether it was, just because it was a painful experience doesn't mean that the mind is not actually, will not go to it. So if your mind, if your pain is a bit too excruciating, and obviously don't hurt yourself, because they can, your posture really is a thing that needs to work. You need to work out which is the best posture. So once you're used to a posture, then perhaps the pain will not be a problem anymore. So then you start moving. So the intention first, and be mindful of the need that you are having, the thinking that you want to move. So you're moving slowly, and then notice the movement of your legs, so that you then notice the absence of the pain as it is happening, and notice the end of moving. That's very important. So starting to move and end of the moving, otherwise you'll be moving all the time. Next time the mind complains, you want to move again. So once you have finished once the pain is gone by moving, then notice the absence of the pain. Notice the stopping of the move, and then let it go. Don't get attached to that relief. Don't get attached to relief. Don't even think, oh, now it's good. Don't get attached to relief, but let it go. So that's finished, and then you come back to your breathing. It's something that you need to sort of do, but don't make it a habit of moving. Now, the reason for me to explain this was not to come to that far of a technique, but it was about to actually explain how the mind is always flickering like that flame behind me, flickering to always to objects, like a small toddler or even a restless person wanting to do lots of things. So if the body is unconsciously wanting your attention, and you move even in your sleep, imagine how the mind must be when it has no material. It's not a material thing. Mind is not material. Physical body, sometimes you might think you can tie it and do something, or you can purposely make it stay with you. Now this mind is immaterial, and the chance of the mind flickering even for a slightest of attention is so much. So be mindful of that mind can also. So be mindful of the mind. What does it do when attractions take place, when thoughts come? So what you need to do is not worry, no matter what, I can't put my mind in the breath. Keep on, make a great effort. Keep on trying to bring the mind back to breathing. And the more you do that, then slowly you will develop the skills of concentration. If your mind wanders, don't start thinking what it is. Don't start, like I said, of the cup. Don't start planning or don't start recalling information. But notice that the mind was thinking or seeing the cup. Let it go. Always be mindful that the mind wandered because of that attention or attraction. That's the nature of the mind, seeking some sort of sensory attention or attraction. Be mindful of that. Let it go. Come back to breathing. Be mindful of the thought, whether it is sad or whether it is anger, whether it is an emotion, whether it's even if it is of the story that comes to your mind. Just notice that this is a past incident and let it go. Don't actually judge saying good or bad, but just be mindful of that the mind has shifted from one attention to another. Let it go, bring it back to breathing. Okay, so with that short reflection, which will continue next week, next Thursday, let us now practice for about half an hour. Okay, so it's 7:50. So the bell, so we'll time for half an hour. So come forward a little bit, right hand on your left palm, back straight so that you're alert. Eyes gently closed. First of all, just scan your body to wind down or settle your mind or still your mind. Notice the upright body. Notice your arms hanging from your shoulder. Right hand on your left palm, placed on your lap. And your body bent at your hips. Notice the pressure of the body on whatever you are sitting, stool, sofa, chair, or even the floor. Bent at your knees, and if you're sitting, your feet firm on the floor, not swaying. So make sure if you want to adjust, you can do that. Don't move your leg, feet firm on the floor. Or if you're sitting cross-legged, side of your legs and ankles touching the floor. If there are family or friends sitting with you, be mindful of their presence. Don't comment or even think anything of those that are not participating, but simply be aware of their presence. Be aware of where you are sitting, as in your location, at home or in the hall, room. And be mindful of yourself as a whole. Still, peaceful body. It is lacking motion because of your dedication and commitment. And once you've been mindful of your whole body, be determined that you are not going to move as much as you've been determined to free yourself from your evening duties and commit yourself for the next 30 minutes. And bring your attention now, that peaceful mind, to your breath. And as we said before, just be in the breath. When I say be in the breath, is when the breathing is taking place. It's that in-breath and out-breath that you notice and you are with it. You can't see it, but you can be with the breath as it happens, breathing in and breathing out. And when we are with the breath, you'll notice sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short. It is a reflection of the state of your mind, but don't start calculating why is it long, why is it short, but just notice long in-breath, long out-breath, short in-breath, short out-breath. Be with the breath from start to end, the starting of in-breath to the end of in-breath. And instantly it starts breathing out, so don't hold your breath to notice the start of out-breath, but try to see the switch, starting to breathe out and end of out-breath. So when you are with your breath as a whole, you see the duration, you see the start, you see the end. This is what we call Udayavaya, looking at the start, rising and ceasing. When you see your breath as a whole, sometimes you feel your body is refreshing. When you see the breath as a whole, when you exhale, your body relaxes. So be mindful of those breathing in and breathing out. If you're used to the counting method, 1 is when you start breathing in, continuity is 2, when you finish breathing out, 3. When you breathe out, start is 3, 2, 1. Should your mind wander, remember the strategy. Recognize, don't stay there, don't get involved. Let it go, release. Come back home to your breath, return. Recognize, release, return. So that brings us to the close of our broadcast today. So as you may notice, if our mind wasn't wandering, it doesn't wander for unnecessary things. You're always focused, you're mindful, and it stops your mind from being restless, it stops your mind from being seeking always with cravings or even with deluded or even with conclusive thoughts. So it really develops peace of mind when your mind is trained to be still for a while. Okay, so do practice every day when you have free. Otherwise, do join us to our weekly session next Thursday, 7:30 to 8:30. So thank you for joining with us today. See you tomorrow at 7 o'clock with our live broadcast again. Have a very good evening. Take care and good night. Stay safe.